Hello, everybody. This is Francesco Rulli. I'm the CEO of Querlo. I'm also the Forbes AI Solution Business Partners for Forbes Insights. I'm here today with Patrick Keogh, who is one of the Master of Science students that we spoke to maybe a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, for an NYU program in which there was an adoption of artificial intelligence. So, Patrick, if you can give us a little bit more information about your professional background and what you're doing now with NYU.
Yeah, of course, Francesco. Thank you. Yeah, so my professional background really is up until recently, I guess about a year or so ago, was kind of focused on the operational administrative side of HR. So all things HR, everything from recruiting to benefits admin, processes, and really about it was probably just before the pandemic hit. I kind of had a shift in where I was interested in, and where within the realm of HR I wanted to continue, to further my career. And so really took an interest in the data analytics and technology side of HR and everything related to systems, as well as process improvements, optimizations. And so found myself at the Master of Science in Human Capital Analytics and Technology program at NYU. And I just finished that up just about a few weeks ago when, you had us, you joined in our class and we were using Querlo. So that was actually one of my last classes. So yeah, that's really my role right now is as a people analytics specialist. So a lot of my time is spent on, people related reporting, analytics. We're somewhat earlier in our journey at FreedomCare around the people analytics space. So really just getting a good foundation of the correct processes, having clean data, and then eventually building that out to provide better insights to the business, being around data-driven insights and recommendations to the business as we continue to grow, as we have been growing pretty rapidly. So that's where I'm at now.
Fantastic. So during the NYU presentation, you presented something you were doing on a fictional project for a company called Keogh. Can you share with us a little bit what was this project about?
Yeah, of course. So we were in a course called Digital Workplace Design. And we were tasked by Dr. Luc Pechor, as you know, basically, like you said, a fictional company, a case study to design a product or a process around learning and development, training and learning and development for a fictional company that was going to be based on Mars. And so the reason behind that was to kind of get us as students to really think outside the box and how we can think about the future of work and the future of HR. And our specific team was tasked with designing the best way to utilize AI and Querlo, as you know that we did, to create a system or a platform that would allow the best way for employees of this fictional company to have a way to access learning and development through skills that were relevant to them. So that's kind of the basis of it, and I can certainly jump into a little more detail.
Okay, and how was your experience building the chatbot? Do you create something specific and you learn some aspects of the implementation of artificial intelligence?
Sure. Yeah. The experience was pretty seamless as for students who, have really more of an HR background and not so much more of the technical background related to coding or anything like that. Stella had kind of presented us at the beginning of the class, and, we're going to be creating a chatbot through conversational AI through, this tool called Querlo. And at first, you think it's sounds a little overwhelming, right, to create a chatbot, but it was very easy for us to use. Taking a step back, really the idea was to use Querlo as the conversational AI chatbot of this system. And so when our fictional employees would log into our LMS, our learning and development platform, they would be greeted with a message asking them about when they wanted to, what they wanted to learn that day, when they wanted to schedule time. And then from our end, what we were doing was we were building in those responses based off of what the fictional employee was replying. So of course, think about it in the sense of, you log onto your computer for the day and you're thinking about learning something new, upskilling, reskilling. You could log in and the system would speak to you, and maybe that day isn't a good day to be learning something. So you could tell it that, oh, I'd like to schedule some learning for this time at this date. And then the idea behind that was we would be able to, the next step, we didn't get to this point, but the next step would have been, having some sort of integration with a calendar system, whether it's Outlook or Google Suite, to schedule some of those, micro learnings, not scheduling a full hour or hour and a half, because it's not really realistic these days to have that much time dedicated to learning, but, I guess kind of microcosms of learning here and there. But really, as far as how we were building the system, it really was a pretty easy experience once we started to, kind of fool around with Querlo, build out some of the flows of, okay, if the fictional employee answered this, then we would provide these responses, and then they would answer with this. And so it really becomes a nice graphic for how you're seeing the conversation go from the employee first logging into the system and speaking with the chatbot to kind of the end of the system and how the conversation wraps up.
Fantastic. Yeah. In fact, I was extremely satisfied by what you guys did. Mm-hmm. Obviously, this can be expanded with the implementations of APIs of the LMS system or whatever is the enterprise solution connected to. So, Patrick, sure. Thank you very much for your contribution, and we'll keep in touch. Thank you.
Of course. Great. Yeah. Thank you, Francesco. Appreciate it.